Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's talk some baseball. Friday, September 6th. We have a full card for you guys. I'm going to have 4 best bets. Also, we're going to get into the Padres game where we're going to talk about 2 bets in that contest. Don't know exactly how I'm going to bet it, but there's 2 things in that game that I really like, 2 angles to go over. So as we get down the list and we get into that Padres matchup, we're going to be talking about the Padres and San Francisco Giants game. A little bit longer, but that is a later game tonight, so we are going to wait towards the end of this video. But welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, great time to subscribe, smash that like button, and let's get it going. Let's talk some sports. We had an exciting Kansas City Chiefs Baltimore Ravens rematch yesterday. A very theatric ending. Was able to go live here on the channel. Just a nice little casual kind of hangout, if you will. So we had some fun with that. Cashed a lot of bets on the NFL ticket. We will be back tonight for what we're doing within the Philadelphia Eagles as well as the Green Bay Packers game. There will be a video coming out later on after this video. Make sure you guys have that notification bell turned on. And let's get down into the baseball picks, okay? A couple things of business, though. If you have not followed us on Discord, make sure you do that. And please, like I said, the handle for my Twitter is in the bottom left of your screen, as well as subscribing to this channel down below, okay? But that's kind of where we're at. Let's get into the odds jam. Let's take a dive into the numbers. And I do want to preface this all by saying both of those platforms are totally free, guys. So don't feel obligated to do so. It's just another way for me to directly communicate with you all. So that's it. That's a good thing, right? Anytime you get value provided to you for free is a great thing. And also, we don't charge for picks here, so we're going to continue to deliver some winners. And when it is shitty out and we do have a bad day, I'm going to be the first one to let you know. So that's kind of where I'm at. Let's get into the picks. The first game on the card, Yankees-Cubs. This is going to be interesting. Let's see how the Yankees kind of close up their their season, right? This is where you got to start worrying about kind of morale, and that's when that starts coming into play. So you do get a little bit more, in my opinion, run lines. You do get a little bit more blowouts. I think that's something where we start to bet that a little bit more deeper into quarter 4 of this Major League season. But we'll talk about the Yankees, 80-60 on the season, and you can see where the Cubs are leaning right now. It's going to be interesting to see who gets in and where these divisional standings end up. But a lot of inner league play, if you will, whatever you want to call it. Jordan Wicks going against Luis Hill. I do like the Yankees in the spot. Minus 133 at Wrigley. That's very, very fascinating. Okay, I think that's kind of where I'm at. If I was going to bet this game, it's a sucker bet. I'm going to stay away from it, but I want to share with you kind of what's going on within this Yanks matchup from more of a number standpoint as well. Okay, we come into this game, you can see a little bit of the money more so on the Yankees, okay, on the run line, but we do have an overwhelming vast majority. 89% of the money, it will be on the Cubs, plus 121. 83% of the public on the Yankees, of course, very public team. So that's kind of where the betting splits lie within that. Also a little bit of a shade to the over 7. But if we look at the Yankees, these are the numbers I'm talking about. Look at their last 4 games, okay? They've given up 10 runs, 7 runs, 4 runs, 7 runs, 5 runs, and that's just the last 5. So they're giving up an offensive output pretty much at a high clip. They're not pitching well, and if they're going to take this mindset where they're going to outscore everybody come postseason, it's just a whole different brand of baseball. So that's kind of where we're at. Able to beat the Rangers once out of those last 5 games, 8-4. If I was going to play this game, it's a fishy line. I like the Yankees at Wrigley, but I kind of have to go with the Cubbies here and Jordan Wicks with the plus money play. That's where the value is. That's where I guess you would say that's the sharper side of the bet. But I'm going to stay away from it because this game reeks. It's kind of my 2 cents. Okay, Rockies, Brewers, favor the over in this game. Over 7, I think that's a little bit too low. I know we're not at Coors Field, but Ryan Feltner going against Frankie Montas. Both of these pitchers can get hit around. A lot of people think the Brewers are kind of the most, cloak and dagger team out there in baseball right now. But for me, in my money, over 7, minus 125 would be how I would approach this game. Okay, and let's get into my first official play. This will be Washington and Pittsburgh. 2 of these teams are arguably the best no-run first inning candidates out here. That's kind of how we've been playing it here on the channel, and we're going to keep that streak going today. We're going to take the Washington Pirates game under no runs first inning, under half a run, whatever you want to call it. We're not going to play it on the tie market like I talk about a lot The no-run first inning, minus 119. Watch it hit. But jokes aside, I think Luis Ortiz gets us through the first, and DJ Hurst, his numbers have been kind of up. He's been pitching well. Just got to get through that first three for the against that Pirates ball club, and that's kind of where I look for a no-run first inning cash within that Pirates Nationals game as my first best bet. Okay, and those for those of you that do bet every single day and you understand NRFIs and YRFIs and all that stuff, some people view them as just basically coin flips. Me, not so much. I think that they're coin flips if you just randomly pick the games, but there is a lot of variance. But as with anything in baseball, you do get that for the course of the full game as well. So I can make the argument for and against, but if I see an opportunity where I have an edge from a pitching matchup, the number's low enough, and we do get kind of a good kind of tailwind coming in from something to do with the weather at the stadium and or just kind of the ballpark backing us up, essentially, that's where we're going to take the no-run first inning. And I do take more NRFIs than YRFIs, okay? I think there's way more variance within the YRFIs, and that's why a lot of times they're plus money prices, okay? Dean Kramer and Shane Baz going against this divisional game, Tampa Bay and Baltimore, okay? In the spot, kind of interesting, we see Baltimore kind of get back on the horse. And if you know what I'm talking about, it's probably because I didn't do a show yesterday, but we see Baltimore kind of coming off of a very weird kind of game this week, right, where they were able to lose to the White Sox, and quite handedly, too, if you want to talk about it. But now the Baltimore Orioles come in minus 139. Kramer's kind of interesting. He's one of those pitchers I tend to fade, but he stung me a little bit with a couple starts where he was able to go to distance deep into the game, 7-8 innings, and really keep those hits down. But 6-9 on the season. This is a dead coin flip, in my opinion. Tampa Bay has been kind of interesting, keeping those games tight. Able to beat Minnesota, okay, 2 out of 4 games. And this is where you look at what Baltimore is able to do. They almost took 3 of 3 against the White Sox, but then ended up losing that 8-1 game on the 4th. They've had a day off. They come back into this one rested. So I lean Baltimore minus 139. That would be my lean, but I don't see any value in taking it. There is a good chance, though, we get through the evening and then we come into the day tomorrow and we see this kind of looking at dead in the face at Baltimore. Moneyline was to play at home last night, but that's okay. There's a lot of bets out there, so we are going to pass on that one as well. Okay, Reds, Mets. This is one that I truly like. I think we have to back the Mets here on the run line. Sean Manaea, I know that 11-5 record does not tell the whole story, but he's been absolutely fantastic. And if we talk about it a little deeper and talk about their record when he pitches, whether or not he gets a decision or not, they have done impressively well. And this has all kind of been on a streak, too. This wasn't just, last few outings. This is something where I see a lot of value with the Mets at home. They're hitting the baseball very well. Fernando Cruz, not so much. He's been kind of abysmal on the road. And now that we look in this game where what Cincinnati has left on the table in terms of who's going to be available to throw, I think this is where the Mets, as long as they hit the baseball, they get this one done with ease. Cincinnati, though, winning four out of their last 5 games, taking down a big 3-game series within their series with Houston, sweeping the Houston Astros, and we saw the likes of Milwaukee and them able to steal a game as well. So Mets, though, conversely, winning 5 of their last 5. So they've actually been on a little bit of a tear. It's not 5, it's actually 7 games in a row. Okay, so 7 games in a row for the Mets. Absolutely impressive. You're hearing the Lindor MVP chants in the stadium. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it has been very fun to watch. So that's kind of where we're looking at the Mets here, taking them on the run line at a plus money price, plus 128. There is always the chance that they win by 1, but we're gonna back them here in the run line as well. Okay, and a little bit split later on in the video. Zach Wheeler and Edward Cabrera, though, will be that next matchup for the Phillies and the Marlins. Now, in this game, we have to talk about the fact that I love the Phillies in this spot. However, this is basically an unbettable game as we look into the number. I'm not going to lay over $2 with the Phillies on the road. However, we are going to take this, and it's going to be plain and simple, guys. It's just a 2-team money line parlay. I like the Mets tonight, and I like the Phillies. So we're going to take both of those teams, box them up, and you do get a plus 123 price on that two-team money line. I know it's chalky. I do this from time to time. It's just a way to lower your odds, but in these two matchups, that's also kind of a way to split that Mets run line as a little bit of an insurance policy. So that's kind of where I'm at, and it's going to kind of wrap everything up within that side of my bets. I like to make a lot of bets that correlate a lot. So some days, you do get that a little bit of insurance policy and a little bit of ability to sweep the board. So that's kind of what we're doing within that game, tying it directly into the Mets money line. Okay, White Sox, Red Sox. That is the battle of the Sox. Next game up, Nick Pivetta, Davis Martin, and yes, the White Sox have 109 losses. So shout out to them. I'm not going to back the Red Sox in this spot. Yes, it's going to be the side, but some weird stuff's going to happen. We saw what happened with Houston in Chicago. So I'm sorry, Baltimore and Chicago. So I'm going to stay away from this one. And quite frankly, unless you're betting Boston overruns, over team total, I mean, that's going to be where the public's at. That's where the bets are at. That's where you have to be at. I just don't like it in the spot going against Boston on the road. So weird things can happen in that stadium. So I'm going to stay away from that one. Okay. Blue Jays, Braves. Max Fried on the bump for the Braves. This is a game where I lean towards the under. You see this right now on your card. If you look at the big board, we can look for an under 8 to come into play. That's kind of how I would view this game and approach it. But I'm not going to get involved with this. There's better bets out there. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't love this card. I targeted the Mets game. I like the Phillies game. It's kind of unbettable. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Houston game, and the other bet I'll have will be in the San Diego Padres game. That's kind of where I'm at. Those are the games I targeted. I cross a lot of games off when I'm making my bets. So when I talk about these, I'm just giving you guys my leans until we hit the official plays. Okay. Angels, Rangers, that'll be the next one. We do have a Spencer Harry going against Gerson Garabito. Good luck with those. But I do like the Rangers here at home. I think this one also has potential to be lower scoring. I think the under 9.5, who knows, these pitchers may get beat around a little bit. Not a lot of track record to go off of, so we'd have to look into minor league stats. I don't like doing that, so that's why this game got crossed off. But if you do want to dive in a little stronger, this could be a very sharp move going into taking the Rangers here, or the Angels for that matter. Harry in its first outing, I looked at a little bit. I think went 5+ innings. So quality start. It gave up 3 runs, I believe. But I do like the Rangers at home to get this one done. I'm just not too familiar with what they're going to be doing on from their pitching standpoint. So it's a game that I'm staying away from, right? It's kind of that dual-edged sword. Yeah, I like the Rangers lineup at home. I don't like the Angels lineup, and you have to kind of mix that all together with the pitchers that are going to be going and see where we come out on the other side. So that's just kind of where it doesn't add up. So that's my recipe for staying away from it, okay? Twins and Royals. We do have Cole Reagans and Zebby Matthews. Nice AL Central kind of matchup as we see that division come under wraps. Kansas City's been taking some lumps, but I think that's something where it's not too crazy. I think we've seen just kind of up and down runs that all 3 of these teams, for that matter, in the AL Central have been on. Cleveland, they went on that big losing streak. Kansas City just seemingly can't find a stretch where they just get keep that momentum going, right? They lost 2 or 3 against Cleveland. They got smoked, lost 4 in a row, swept by Houston, lost another 2 or 3 at Cleveland. So Kansas City's been getting owned out of their last 10 games. And then they go host Minnesota, where Zebby Matthews is thrown. And this is going to come down to kind of how the Twins handle left-handed pitching. Personally, I think the Twins are in a great spot in this game. Plus 134 on the money line. I know they're going against Reagans. I know you can say what you want, Kansas City at home. But I think the money, especially even Twins, plus 1.5, minus to 164, not opposed to that. I just don't love it right now. But in this kind of conclusion to the season, it is not always a bad thing to bet the teams that are going to be fighting for postseason play, okay, up until the point where basically they're eliminated. But that's kind of where I'm at within the Twins-Royals game. So leaning towards taking Twins with plus money. Diamondbacks, Astros. This will be an official play. I looked into this game. Framber Valdez got off to a good start, but in it, he only went about 3 innings, if I remember correctly, if my memory is correct. So I don't know if that was the game that he got hurt. Most likely it was. But I think this is where Brandon Pfaadt and Houston, there's going to be a low-scoring game in this. I think this is where we We can look at this over-under at 8. I think this is where we do get, at worst, a 5-3 push. So I will look towards the Houston Astros under 8 against the Diamondbacks today. That will be an official play, minus 113. Brandon Pfaadt's been, not not horrible. He's going to be able to pitch well enough to kind of keep these bats under control. The only thing that really bugs me is Houston at home. Maybe it's a better move to get on the over, but for some reason I just think that Framber gets it done. I think we see a dominating performance out of him in this spot. I think I like the matchup, especially because we can look into Diamondbacks, some other statistics when we look at kind of where we're at from left-handed betting splits, so on and so forth. It just sets up well for Framber to have a great outing in this matchup. So lock it in, taking the Astros on the under. Okay, Mariners Cardinals. This is something where it's Mariners or nothing for me. I'm just not going to back any kind of White Sox pitcher, despite being on the Cardinals. Mariners go on the road. That's the only thing that scares me. But Mariners money line would be the play for me in this matchup. Possibly even the first 5. Just ride Bryce Miller and bet against Eric Fetty. Okay. We're going to save the best for last. The next 2 games, though, Detroit Athletics. That's where we're going to have a game out in Oakland. Limited time left where these games are going to be played out there in the Oakland Coliseum. Sad story on that one, but the fans don't seem to mind too much. I think the protests have quit, but there are some faithful. But Torx cue ball, 16-4 on the season. Absolutely fantastic. Going against Mitch Spence. This is a game where I could see this being lower scoring. We see the total at 7.5. That's where I would lend towards. Also, Detroit first 5 in this matchup. Skew ball, strikeouts. That's just kind of where I'm at. Those are the 3 angles I'd go to. All right. In the game that I'm going to have on alongside the likes of the Philadelphia Green Bay game will be the Cleveland Guardians traveling to LA to play the Dodgers. It's going to be a great series. Kind of interesting little take here in a pitching matchup where we do get Matthew Boyd against a potential staff day for the Dodgers. This is something where I could see Cleveland plus 1.5 minus 150, but there's some value taking the Guardians plus 137 on the money line. Also, I do like the over 8.5 in this matchup as well, minus 120. I'm not going to bet it quite yet. We are going to see what goes on in the earlier games, and then possibly as we get a 10-10 first pitch, we'll be up and at them and look to get in this game live. We'll see who's pitching for the Dodgers. But before we see those that information, I'm going to be on Cleveland money line and the over 8.5. Okay, and then the last game where we will have an official play. This will be the Padres. Yes, we are going to back the Padres. Okay, looking for some value, and this is going to be kind of one play in one. I'm going to kind of string it together in a same game parlay, as well as we're going to get into a bet these individually. Okay, so that's kind of how I'm going to play this. Okay, I like the Padres. I think that they're going to get the Mason Black. You look at the Giants and what they're able to do. They right now in their last handful of games, they're basically leading the major leagues. I think they're in the first or second spot, most strikeouts in the major leagues. Michael King, if you watch his last outing that he had, and we can go into kind of some of the numbers, we can bring it up. He had 3 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts, 10 strikeouts, and 7 in his last 5. Great pitcher, okay? Great pitcher. And this is something where he only went 4 innings, okay? He got beat around by the Cardinals. And yes, this is where we look into kind of prior performances within this matchup, but I think that he bounces back here. Scrappy pitcher. I think he goes 6 or 7, and we get out of here with at least 7 Ks. In this though, guys, when I do parlay this, I will take the 6+ Ks if the number allows for it. I'm not quite sure where it's going to be at, but that's where I'm going to be at if I do play that way, where we do half unit on Michael King over 6.5 Ks, and then Michael King to record a win. Those are half unit plays. Parlay them together, and I might take the 6. It depends what the number is, but if not, I'm going to do that with the 6.5 in that same game kind of parlay. That probably most likely will be within DraftKings. Okay, so that'll be my final plays. If you do want to see the breakdown, that's where we're at. Make sure you guys all smash that like button. Please subscribe down below. I know this was a little bit of a longer video, but a lot of games to talk about. Also, with all the sports running, I kind of get into off topic a little bit. So appreciate that for those of you that stuck around. Make sure you subscribe on your way out. Good luck with your bets. Huge weekend. and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.